Hello, it's Maryon Stewart, and I'm here, as promised, live today to answer some of your questions. So I've got a few people that I'm going to include in today's session. If your question's not answered, then please ask it again, and I'll try and do it in another session in a few days' time. So first of all, it's a new year, and we want to try to make the most of this year, so ideally to get symptom-free. And I know it's freezing outside at the moment, and those of you that exercise outside or go to work in the dark or come home in the dark are not feeling so great. I'm in New York at the moment. It's absolutely freezing here. It's about -7. So you have to brace yourself to go outside. So if you can't function normally, then there are things that you can do. Sometimes your symptoms get worse in the winter because you're lacking sunlight, literally. So there may be some things that you need to do to make yourself feel better. You can get some synthetic sunlight. Sometimes there are some of those little caps that you can put on your head that give you, or even on your computer, that simulate the sunshine. And for those of you that don't take antidepressants, St. John's wort's pretty good for making you get over what's called seasonal affective disorder. So also to exercise maybe at home. If you usually go out for a walk or running and you can't get out because it's horrible weather and it's dark, put some music on, do some of your favourite exercise to some of your favourite music, and that will help you. And I tend to do that anyway because my day's really busy. So if I'm not in the sunshine and I can't get out to do exercise, then I usually exercise at home, just to the radio maybe, or just put some of your favourite music on, play mix, and just go for it. No one's looking. You can just do it and make yourself feel better. It releases endorphins, which are the feel-good hormones that make you feel so much better. But if you're feeling really tired, obviously, then you're going to be limited as to how much exercise you can do until you get yourself feeling better. And one of the reasons why you can feel tired is that you can be literally running on empty, or in what I call economy mode, so that you can't function normally because your levels are so low that your body really is only doing the bare minimum. So the first thing you need to do is maybe ask your doctor to check your serum ferritin levels, your iron stores, to see whether you've got low iron stores and you need to take additional iron, and maybe get your thyroid checked to see whether that's functioning normally, because those two things, and also low vitamin D, can make you feel really tired. So check out those things first of all if you are feeling tired. Maybe you're not eating as well as you can be, but also you need to bear in mind that nutritional deficiencies that come upon us during our childbearing years, when we're giving out so much and not taking in enough, get worse as you get older. So as you get to the perimenopause and the menopause, it becomes really tough to get through this transition unaided. So there's a little nutritional assessment tool that you can download. You'll find that in the files in the group, and maybe we'll post it again afterwards so that you can use that to see whether you've got low levels of nutrients and perhaps which nutrients need a bit of a boost. So you can take things like multivitamins and minerals. We use one called Fema 45 Plus, which is a broad spectrum multivitamin and mineral that helps to boost your nutrient levels. But it is by no means the only thing that you can do for yourself at this time. And I get really kind of frustrated when I hear people in the group passing on recommendations to each other saying, try this vitamin or try that supplement. It isn't as simple as that when you get to menopause. And all these symptoms that you've got, whether it's anxiety, whether it's fatigue, aches and pains, hot flushes, night sweats, vaginal dryness, all of those things and more, are the body just trying to communicate to you that all is not well. And you need to fix it. You need to learn body speak so that you can actually fix it. And it's really important. So I'm going to focus on a few questions today. If you want to get some extra help, you can do so in the group. Obviously, I'm answering questions as I'm going to be doing now, but also there are other ways. There are books. I have a boot camp. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. In fact, there's a new live session for the boot camp starting tomorrow. So if you are thinking about treating yourself and really investing in yourself to get yourself better, then come and join us so that you can be part of that session tomorrow. So let me go on to the questions first of all, and I'll come back and deal with any other bits and pieces before I end the session. So just let's see where we're here. So first of all, I wanted to talk about, there's tons of questions in this last few days about hysterectomy. And a lot of you have had a hysterectomy, some of you really early, some of you had a full hysterectomy, some of you didn't, and you still have your ovaries. But whatever happens when you have a hysterectomy, I'm sorry to say that very often you aren't given adequate knowledge and information about how to deal with it. So often ovaries are taken when they don't need to be taken, but with hindsight, there's not a lot you can do about it. If you have had a radical hysterectomy, you are likely to go into a very rapid menopause, and that can be quite shocking because you suddenly get symptoms of estrogen withdrawal. And in fact, if you gave a man estrogen and then took it away from him suddenly, he would also get hot flushes and night sweats. So it's just because your ovaries are gone and you're not producing estrogen anymore. So it's really important to make sure that you're in very good nutritional shape and that you consume foods that contain naturally occurring estrogen little and often throughout the day and the evening, because you can literally fool your brain into thinking you've got normal circulating estrogen again by consuming foods like soya products, flax seeds, and also supplements that contain red clover. And in particular, we use Promensil because that's been through the clinical trials. It's been shown to be safe and effective, and more importantly, it's been shown to have what it says on the label. So many of these supplements don't when they're analysed, and that's why I'm very big on recommending science-based supplements. And if you do want to buy any of the supplements in the shop, in the online shop, maryonstewart.com/shop, then enter the code Midlife Switch 2017 and you'll get 10% discount on anything you order. So that's I negotiated that for the group. What I really want to emphasise is that sorting out your menopause symptoms, whether it's after a hysterectomy or whether it's just because you're going through perimenopause or menopause, you need to make sure that you're not buying into the idea that a magic pill will sort everything out for you, because it won't. And I talk in my masterclass about the fact that there are 5 different ways that you need to, 5 different approaches, I suppose, that you need to work on to alleviate your symptoms going through the menopause. So one of them is diet, and taking things out of your diet that may impede the absorption of good nutrients at a time when your nutrient levels are low. We're also taking things out of your diet that may make your symptoms worse, like coffee and tea, alcohol, things that really, and spicy foods, hot drinks, that really bring on the flushes when you're at that very sensitive stage. And then consuming the foods that contain naturally occurring estrogen. And not forgetting to do things like relaxation, which can reduce your flushes by 50 or 60%, and also to do some exercise, maybe gentle exercise if you're not very fit, or some aerobic exercise if you're fitter. So all of those things, and finding the right kind of supplements for your symptoms, because there are so many supplements that are science-based, there are so many supplements that aren't, so you need to find the ones that are. And I talk a lot about those. I talk more about those in the masterclass, and certainly in my book, there's a chart. And in the boot camp, I help women to formulate their own program based on the program that I've been running for 26 years, helping women go through the menopause. So they find out what they need to take to overcome their symptoms. And I think it's really important. You just need to know before you do it, and you don't want to be investing money in something that really isn't going to work. And that's the bad thing about the internet, because there are so many things that have been shown to work, but they get lost in amongst the things that have been shown not to work. And one of those things, for example, is the magnets. And some of you talk about magnets and you put them inside your knickers. I did that too when I was going through the menopause. I used to recommend them to my patients, but so many people said they weren't really working. So I try to recommend things. I mean, there's no harm in you trying, but don't be feeling so disappointed when you find that these things don't work. It really is a 5-pronged approach, and you really have got to work on finding what's right for your body. It doesn't take very long. Even after about 5 weeks in the boot camp, most of the women are feeling that they are so much better and they can see a light at the end of the tunnel. And certainly after 5 months on my program, women are symptom-free. Those symptoms don't come back. If you carry on meeting your needs, and not only do you overcome your menopause symptoms, but you also help to prevent things like heart disease, dementia, and osteoporosis, the bone thinning disease after the menopause, when we have fallen levels of estrogen, you're not protected by estrogen anymore, so you need to do things for yourself. So it's really important, whether you're having a surgical menopause because you've had a hysterectomy, whether you're going through perimenopause, early menopause, or you're just going through menopause at the right age, or even if you've passed the menopause, which is just the anniversary of your last period, 1 year past your last period, you still need to learn how to meet your needs for all of those things. So let me move on and find another question. I had a list of them somewhere. Okay, so this is Trisha Cadogan, and she's talking about her hair's thinning, and she wonders if there's any suggestions, desperate to find something that will work. So there are things that you can take specifically for your hair. There are some supplements. So you'll find in our shop, for example, there's something called fluorescein, which has been shown to help with hair. There's Maxi Hair, and there are other supplements. Let me see if I can think of. There's Norkin as well. I think that's a bit more expensive, but you can try those things, and they have been shown to help with hair loss, to help to rebuild the hair follicles and to make your hair thicker. But if you've got low iron stores and your thyroid isn't functioning normally, then those are two reasons why you're not going to have very thick hair. And as you get older and thyroid problems become more common, and certainly iron levels become low, especially if you're having heavy periods as you get to menopause, you're likely to have thinning hair. And also if your estrogen levels are low, again, that's another reason why your hair may thin. So you just, rather than rushing out to buy a hair supplement, it might be better to learn how to meet your needs. And over a period of a few months, your hair can thicken up. If your hair is really thin, then try one of the hair supplements. I'll try and post the links in the group afterwards so that you can have a look in the shop and see. And again, don't forget to put the code Midlife Switch 2017. It's not changing this year, it's just staying as 2017. So hopefully that will help. But please do remember that the diet itself, you've got to help yourself through your diet as well as taking supplements. Supplements are not necessarily magic. And what I tend to find, in fact, there's somebody in the group yesterday, I'm not going to name her, but she said that she's tried a couple of different supplements, they didn't work for her, and she's feeling dejected because it doesn't work. Well, it isn't going to work. Sometimes supplements have what's called a placebo effect. So they might help you for a few months. And certainly if you've got low levels of nutrients and you take something like Fema 45 Plus, that will help to boost your nutrients. But it isn't a magic pill that's going to take away all your menopause symptoms. So you need to learn to meet your needs. You've got to invest in yourself. You've got to invest some time in yourself, and you'll get that back again because your energy levels will come back, your self-esteem will come back, your libido will come back, you'll get rid of the hot flushes and the night sweats, you'll be able to sleep peacefully again. And all will be, in fact, not just normal, but so many people say they feel so much better than they can remember. Because we go downhill over time, it happens gradually. And so you forget how good you felt because you've been feeling bad for so long. So it's really important to learn to meet your needs. Okay, let me see, I've got here. I think I've just bounced myself out of the group, so let me get back in and see if I can find some more questions. Okay, so Stella Weigel, I think your name is. Any advice on increasing appetite and shifting weight post-menopause? Gratefully received. I do walk as much as possible and careful in respect of diet, but weight has increased, which I prefer not to have. Okay, so there are two specific things I need to say to you about that. One is that as you get older, first of all, you're only born with a very small amount of something called chromium. It's a trace mineral. And chromium, magnesium, and B vitamins are all necessary for normal blood glucose control. And we found in all the research that we've done that very often magnesium is the most common deficiency. B vitamins are often in short supply, especially if you've had a stressful life, you haven't been eating well, you've been washing your diet down with too much alcohol, and you've got low levels of nutrients. So when you get to perimenopause and menopause, very often you've got low levels of those nutrients. So you can take chromium complex, which is a supplement that helps to boost your levels. And you've got 60 in a pot, so probably just taking one a day for 2 months will help to get your chromium levels back on track, and a bit of magnesium and B vitamins as well. But it's really important to eat little and often. make sure you've got a constant supply of good nutrients going through to your brain and your nervous system. And recognise the fact that low levels of nutrients at this stage in your life are going to make you crave food. And the other thing that happens is that your metabolism slows down when you get to midlife. And so that means eating your normal diet is too much for you. So you need to do more exercise so that you boost your metabolism, you boost your metabolic rate, and you burn up more fat so that you can carry on eating the same diet. So it's really important, if you're going to be adding in things like soy milk, use soy light, and take some things out of your diet. Have little and often, not great big servings, and make sure that your blood glucose levels are on an even keel. And I do talk a little bit more about that, certainly in the masterclass, but in the boot camp I go into it in great detail. So hopefully that will help, and for those of you who've got cravings. Jenny Morgan says, hi everyone, I'm 50, post-menopause, breast cancer at 36, chemo then tamoxifen. Been having symptoms for over 10 years, but they really upped the ante over the last 6 months. Fatigue, awful sleep, night sweats, with night terrors, anxiety, low mood swings, anxiety, panic attacks, and I'm a complementary therapist, and menopause has really affected my work. I've become a hermit. I take vitamin C, Mega B complex, magnesium, fish oils. My diet is good, mainly vegan style, but with meat and fish. I have chia seeds, linseeds, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds daily. You get the picture. I lift weights 2 or 3 times a week and consciously walk 15 to 20 miles a week. Any help, tips, advice to make things easier would be appreciated. So, Jenny, obviously you've been through the mill having had breast cancer so early and having also had chemo, which would have wiped out your nutrient levels. And you are taking some of the things, and this is probably a classic example of someone who's really knowledgeable and doing as much as she can to help herself, but still you haven't managed to overcome your symptoms. And that's why I emphasize the fact that it is such an individual thing, and it's really learning to meet your needs. So what you're probably not doing is taking in enough naturally occurring estrogen. I'm not sure that your nutrient levels are in an optimum range for you to be having so many symptoms, but certainly there are some supplements that you can take that help to normalize your hormone producing glands. Things like feminescence, for example, has been through clinical trials. Promensil, again, you could try those, but there are other things that you can try too. Doing some formal relaxation, 20 minutes at least a day, maybe half an hour. Try the Perziz app. That helps to take you into a really deep, relaxed state and bring you out again. But relaxation has been shown to reduce your flushes by 50 or 60%. And by relaxation, I mean formal relaxation. Some people find it hard to do. But certainly there are lots of things that you can do to boost your levels. If you want to learn how to make your own tailor-made program, then come to the boot camp and I'll take you through that over 6 weeks. Or if you want some one-to-one help and you want a program written, you can do that. Or you can just read one of my books and try and figure it out for yourself. But it is very individual. And what works for one person doesn't necessarily work for another person. And also sometimes you try things, and this menopause thing is a transition. So sometimes you can get your symptoms under control, but then suddenly certain symptoms come back again, something happens in your life. So you need to have all the tools at your fingertips so that you can tweak things and change things, mix it up a bit, try something else that will help to get you back into the driving seat so that your symptoms are under control again. So let's go on to another one. So Francine says, I would welcome some advice please. Aches and pains pretty bad at the moment, joints and muscles. I have a Mirena coil in and it feels like the pains have gotten worse since it was inserted 10 months ago. I've just started to introduce soy and increase exercise this week. Pain seems to move at the moment to my tailbone, shoulder and arm, and always anxiety increases as the pain increases. Okay, so there's a lot going on in your question here, so let's get this straight. So first of all, let me talk about the Mirena coil. I'm not really big on a progesterone coil Because the research is very mixed about progesterone, it doesn't really help to drip progesterone into your system. It doesn't necessarily make things better for you. It may help to adjust heavy periods, but there are other ways that you can do that too. So I don't think that you're imagining things when you're saying that the aches and pains have got worse. I would suggest that you probably have the coil taken out. If you've got heavy periods, then we need to address that. There are lots of things that you can do. Certainly taking in naturally occurring estrogen. Promensil has been shown to help to adjust heavy periods, but there are also other things that you can take too, and I can point you in the direction to things I've written and little films I've made about heavy periods. So that's really important. And aches and pains can also come about because of low estrogen. They can come about because of low vitamin D levels. Lots of different shortages in your body, essential fatty acids. So all of those things you need to put balance into your diet again. You can take things like glucosamine and chondroitin, which helps to relubricate the joints. So there's lots of different things, but there are, again, specific products that I would recommend because a lot of the products don't contain what they say on the label. So it's really important to use the science-based ones. And you've just started to introduce soy, so that's good. Increase your exercise, that's good as well. And the pain seems to move to it's moving and into your tailbone, shoulder and arm, and increases anxiety increases. Well, that's not uncommon. What I would suggest, I really am a big fan of cranial osteopathy. So if you've got lots of aches and pains and they're moving around your body, it might be a good idea to find a very experienced practitioner in your area and go and have a session. And also cranial osteopathy has been shown, there's been studies done to show that it can help to reduce hot flushes as well. So it's worth having a try, but as I say, things are different for different people. So hopefully that helps to get you started, but I would certainly carry on using the naturally occurring estrogen little and often, making sure your nutrient levels are in an optimum range, having plenty of rest and relaxation, do some exercise, maybe some yoga, but you want to do some, obviously be intuitive when you're exercising and listen to your body. It's really important that you do that so that you don't pull anything or make yourself worse, so that you can't get yourself back into doing regular exercise because you've hurt yourself. So let me just see, I can't remember if there's another question I promised to answer. Let's see if there is. Right, I think, let me just check and see if there are any of you asking questions. During this thing, I'm just going to turn this off. Okay, hang on, I've got to move this now. Right, okay, so I've had to come up with that because otherwise you had the reverberation. So vaginal dryness is another question that somebody asked. Just have a quick look. So again, vaginal dryness, you need to have naturally occurring estrogen in your diet, little and often. It looks so similar structurally to estrogen, so under the microscope, they're pretty much the same, so you can fool the brain into thinking you've got normal circulating estrogen. And what happens at the time of the menopause, when the estrogen levels fall, is that the factory that produce the lubrication in your vagina and those elasticy cells tends to go out of business. So we're into the business of switching the lights back on again with naturally occurring estrogen. So there are supplements that you can take as well, and omega-7 made by Pharma Nord has been through trials. It helps to make the lubrication cells grow again and to help the walls of the vagina. You can use, in the short term, you can use, lubrication, so that helps, and coconut oil, various things that you can do. But certainly you don't need to go on having vaginal dryness, and there are creams that you can use as well. I mentioned them in my book. There are a few new creams that have been through trials that are just coming onto the market, not quite there yet, but we're trying to make those available through the shop. But lots of things that you can do to overcome that. And I think somebody asked the question about stress and stress in the workplace. It's another massive subject. It's certainly, there are things that you can do to help yourself with stress. There are herbs like rhodiola, for example, ashwagandha, holy basil, which help to cope with stress. But getting yourself back into good nutritional shape will help to calm the stress down. Even panic attacks, palpitations, all of those things, when you learn to meet your body's needs, you actually get those symptoms completely under control. They go absolutely, completely, so that you feel well again and probably, as I said before, better than you can remember. So it's very much a question of doing some self-assessment or getting appropriate help to get you through to either one end of the spectrum. You can have some hand-holding. I have one-to-one patients and just help them through the whole program so that they come out symptom-free at the end of 5 months, or you can do it yourself with the book, or you can come to the boot camp and have some help for 6 weeks, and that means you go off with your program, and you can have some coaching. There's just so many different things that you can do, but you just need to understand this is not the dress rehearsal, this is real life, and you need to make yourself important enough. Lord knows, as women, we make everybody else important, but make yourself important enough this year to learn how to meet your needs, get yourself back into really good nutritional shape, and learn how to put naturally occurring estrogen into your diet, find out which foods suit you the best, which supplements are best for your symptoms, and get the other side of menopause, because then you can get on with your life. You can get on enjoying yourself, having fun, being sexy again, enjoying time with your partner, being a role model, being productive in the workplace, enjoying your grandchildren if you've got them, or just being independent, and maybe, like some of my patients, going off and doing completely new things. Some of them become healthcare practitioners, healers. They go off and they forge ahead with their careers, or they start their own business. Some of them retire and they go swan off into the sunset and have fun with their partners and travel. So many things you can do when you're feeling well. So grab the reins and reclaim your well-being. I'm here to help you. So do keep sending your questions. Obviously, I can't answer every single one of them, but I will try my best. And certainly if you come to the boot camp, don't forget there is a new one starting this week, live session tomorrow night. So if you can, come and join me. I really, really look forward to helping you overcome your symptoms and get back to feeling like yourself again this year. So thanks very much for joining me, and let's enjoy this journey together. Okay, bye for now.